Hello everyone, welcome to another video on Tutorials Point with Ms.Richa. Today under the customer service module, we will talk about communication in customer service. Well friends, communication and customer service go hand in hand. One cannot exist without the other. Let us see what is there on the agenda for us today. Well, we will talk about what is communication in customer service, methods of communication within a business. We will talk in detail about listening skills, voice inflection as a customer service tool, telephones and customer service, words to use and words to avoid, power phrases, the power of an eye contact and appeal to the senses in communication. Well, I'm very excited to teach you on this particular module, so let's get started right away. Friends, let's understand what is communication in customer service. Well, some of these skills include speaking clearly, talking to your customers well, effective communication, polite communication. You also need to have a feeling of empathy towards your customers and listening to your customers very well. Well, communication is not about speaking, it is also about your body language. As we must have heard, action speaks louder than words. So let's understand what are the different ways or methods in which you can communicate within a business. Well, you do interaction with regards to face-to-face meeting or face-to-face interaction. You also communicate through emails with your customers or within your employees. You also talk in meetings, and that is again a way of communicating, meeting one-to-one or one-to-many. And you also communicate through the means of social media, and today social media is a big platform of communication. Well, let's understand how important is listening to your customers. We do not need to hear our customers, we need to give them a lot of attention by listening to them by 100%. So pay attention to your customers, look at who's talking. Whoever is talking, you need to look at that person. Do not talk while they are talking, listen to them, and then when they finish, then you talk. Asking a lot of questions is again an important part of listening. Following the directions that they have given to us and visualize what is being said. So whatever the customer is really talking to you and telling you, you need to do active listening by really going out of your way and listening to them. Let's understand the role of voice. Now, the words you use are also influenced by the tone that you use. You will not use the same tone for two different people. You will have a different tone when you're talking to employees in your company, that is to your friends and colleagues, and you will have a different tone when you're talking to your boss or your manager or your leader, for example. So hence it's very important to understand that voice and tone plays a very important role. Now friends, telephone, that is speaking to your customers on telephones is very important, and having 10 different techniques is what I'm going to share with you in this particular module. Engage in active listening. Even through a phone, the customer can understand whether you're really listening to them well or no. Highlight your understanding while you're talking to them. Be as courteous, as respectful as you can to your customers. Call the customer by his or her name. Go to the extra mile for your customer. Really try to remove all the boundaries and do as much as you can. Ask, do not demand anything from them. Keep the right distance. Be proactive in terms of take initiative and ask them and clarify things from them. Highlight the pros and cons of whatever you're speaking to them about. Give them additional pros and cons about those things. And use a plain language, which means do not use technical jargons and high-fundu words. Use language which is very simple and understandable to your customers. Now friends, this is a very important part of understanding how communication can make or break your impression in front of a customer. Well, we are going to talk about certain words to use and certain words to avoid when you are talking to your customer. Example number one is, let me look into that. When you say something like, let me look into that, it gives a feeling to the customer that you're really not interested in helping them out, in terms of that. So this is a very vague statement, and instead it provides a clear plan of action when the customer can really want to expect a solution. What to say instead is, I'm going to do some more research and I will call you back with a solution by 3 p.m. today. Now that is giving your customer a very positive way of saying something. Let's look at the second example. Unfortunately, no. Well, customers don't like hearing the word no because no is a very negative term or a negative phrase. Instead, what we can use instead is, although we can't provide that, here's a similar or a better option. That's again a way of saying no, but in a diplomatic fashion. The third example is, there is nothing I can do. Well, by saying that, you're telling your customer, I am washing my hands off this particular thing, so there's nothing I can do. Instead, what you can do is, I understand your frustration. What can I do to help you? Well, that will help a customer better rather than the first option saying there's nothing I can do. The fourth example is, let me correct you on that. Well, instead of saying that, let us look at another way. I must not have explained that correctly, my fault. There is a world of a difference between the first and the second examples. As you are seeing, the first examples that I am showing you are more of the negative statements and negative words. The second ones are the positive phrases. Well, the fifth example is, there must have been a miscommunication. Well, if you're saying that to your customer, what he's really thinking is there is a miscommunication because of him also, and customers don't like to be in that zone wherein they are told that they are wrong on something. What can we do instead? I totally misunderstood your request. Let me fix it for you. Well, that tells a customer that you are happy to help rather than the first option wherein you're putting the blame onto them. The sixth way or example of showing is saying I'm sorry a multiple number of times. Well, a customer doesn't need to hear how sorry you are. He has given you a problem and he needs a solution to that problem. So what can you say instead? I'm sorry you had to experience this, but don't worry, I'll make it right. See, the way you're sounding so positive in this way makes a lot of difference to your customers' way of thinking about your brand. The next example is, I have another call coming in. Can you hold on or can you hang on? Again, it sounds very negative. What could you use instead? If you don't mind, I'm going to put your call on hold while I figure out a solution. Now that sounds more positive and you're requesting the customer before placing his call on hold. The next one is, I don't have any record of your purchase or account. Well, by saying that, what you're really saying is, it shows that the statement will easily make the situation 100 times worse than what it actually is. So do not say something like this. What you can say instead is, did you order under a different name, address or a phone number? While I look that in your account, how can I help you today? By saying that, what you're really doing is telling the customer, I am there for you, I will help you out with your problems. Well friends, let's take a look at certain power phrases which can again make a lot of difference with your customer in terms of helping you have a positive relationship. Using words like or phrases like happy to help, I'd love to understand more about so and so. Great question, I'll find that out for you. I understand how something that must have been for you. Nice to meet you. And as much as I'd like to help, and then you fill in the blanks there. So friends, these are words which are very good and positive to use with your customers. Well, the eyes say it all, and eye contact is the most important thing when you're talking to your customers. They say that eyes are the mirror of your soul, and hence a look can tell you all. Look at your customers, do not stare at them. A glance is all that it takes. Please do go ahead and smile with your eyes. If your smile does not reach your eyes, means your smile is not genuine. Take culture into account. Well, there are a lot of cultures and communities who are not very comfortable with people looking into their eyes. Please respect those cultures and communities and do not look at them in their eyes because they can get uncomfortable. Well friends, when you're talking to your customer, there are certain aspects of gazing which can make or break your impression. For example, a power gazing is when you're looking at the forehead and looking till the eyes of the person. That is a power gaze. A social gazing is when you're looking from the eyes till about the mouth of the person. That's in a social gathering, and that's again acceptable. And intimate gazing is not something I would recommend to use for your customers because that can get them really uncomfortable. And an intimate gaze is looking at from the eyes down till the neck area of the person. Now this is something that you definitely want to avoid with customers. Well friends, communication and technology go hand in hand. Gone are the days wherein technology was not so much advanced and updated. Today everything is based on technology, be it social media, be it mobile apps or any other kind of technology. Technology has helped communicate with the customers in the best of manner that has been possible ever. So I would suggest use technology as much as you can whenever you're communicating with your customer, whether it's through email or if it's through a phone call, Skype session, video conferencing, etc. Friends, that brings us to the end of this particular module on communication in customer service. I do hope you have understood very well this particular chapter. Please do write into us with your queries and do let us know your feedback on this. Thank you very much for watching us and bye-bye.
Tutorialspoint.com. Simply easy learning.